So, right after my friend left, and we talked about we're gonna play pool and get some burgers on Sunday. I told him a bunch of my ideas and told him about the recurring names and how the stuff that I'm doing is evident in like even the spray paint and the number of the post here. It's just so staged and set up that once you're in on the truth, it's inescapable. As soon as he leaves, I look up and there's a line, and it's not like, Starlink, they get videos of that like long string light. It wasn't that. So hopefully, can you see that flashing light? That's a plane. That's not what I saw. What I saw, but the plane is directly above where they were coming from. I don't know if you saw that, but there was a big bright flash in the sky over there where they were coming from just now. I was standing over here and I was thinking about how there was a strange person in the woods, and he just went ha ha ha, and then he disappeared with no footsteps and you couldn't see him. And I followed the footsteps to a cliffside and there was just nothing. He was gone. And I heard clairaudience, I heard clear as day a buzzing, and then I saw the intention of something telepathically say, why haven't you accepted that that was probably an insectoid alien materializing and then leaving? And then I was like, for real? And then I looked up and I saw like this bright, gentle brush stroke, like a tiny little, of bright light in the sky. It was warm, it was comforting. And then that disappeared, and I was like, can you do it? Can you give me a shooting star if that's right? Can you do it again? Can you show me something else to show that you're aliens? And then you'll see these things, these crafts, whatever, these are like, they're blinking the red lights like planes. There's now 3 of them, and they're just circling the area. There's one going this way, there's one going this way. And they're not going anywhere. They're just kind of checking the area out right now. I don't know if it's a military transfer or what, but I saw there. So when you look up at the sky, you'll see stars. There were the same size as the stars, but a little bit dimmer. Just a tiny bit dimmer than the average star. And I saw 3 at first, and I was like, that's weird. But it's probably Starlink. As soon as I thought it's probably Starlink, they floated right above this field here, and they split off in different directions immediately. They didn't curve. There's one directly above me right now, moving. Just, they're hanging out. There's no craft that the government can do without the noise and the blinking. It's not a helicopter. We would have heard it. It's way too high up to be a helicopter. It couldn't be a drone. It's not a drone. Whatever it is, it stopped, and as soon as I was like thinking it could be a straight line, they split off in 3 different directions at once. One of them circled around me and then kept going, and they just drifted off that way that one of the planes is going, and then the other way that they went, there's one plane circling around over here. But these are planes. They're not making any noise, but they're able to turn slowly. They cannot just stop midair and slowly move in a completely different direction like these were. And there was 50 of them. They were going, like, there was a main line of them going in straight lines, but then some would break off, go above my head or go over that way, and they were just kind of like circling the area. And then they took off. They all came from over here in a straight line. I counted 20 at once, and they were different spacings. It wasn't like one was trailing others behind it. It wasn't like they were in a formation or anything. They were breaking off from the line, and they were going the same size as stars, so they look like stars, and they were going off in different directions. I am technically in the geographic center of Vermont. So if it was spreading out across Vermont, I have to think, let's see, so I'm east. So if I'm facing this way is east. So they were coming from the north. And then they stopped right in this field right above me was where they decided to split off. You can see that the plane is now, that one, it's too far away. You can't see the blinking. But this plane is circling, and they were following, but they're following whatever those ships were, whatever those things. As I was talking about the ships, I saw the same shooting stars that I talk about that I can get on command. The things that look like they have tentacles, appendages, those smaller things, those were jumping around. And I don't know how to describe it. It was like 50 of them in an armada, and they split off in different directions, and they were doing loops, and they were going way too fast than any ship can do. No plane or helicopter we can put in the sky, especially not as high up as they were. They were way higher than these planes that I'm seeing now, that are just circling me. They're literally circling me, by the way. That plane has now done a loop following the ships, and now it's coming back, and it's coming straight for me. Literally, it's going to go right above my head. I don't know what this was. Okay, actually it's meeting, so there's a ship, and I can see it's much higher than the plane, but they're going to connect. The plane is now moving to get into the way of this ship. So it's moved its trajectory to meet whatever this thing, and the thing disappeared. And now it reappeared, but it's dimming its light now. The plane is speeding up to catch it. They're going to intersect. It's going right below the object has disappeared again. As soon as the plane got close to it, it disappeared. It just phased out of existence. So this plane is definitely following these UFO ships. The plane turned around to meet it, to see what it was, and then it jumped away. There's something that's standing in the woods over there that keeps rustling. And it hasn't moved, it's just standing over there. There's no wind. It hasn't moved in like 20 minutes. But every now and then it like shakes the tree branch and goes bah, 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 and stomps on the ground, loud stomps. So the plane has done the circle. It went back for the UFO. The UFO disappeared. And now the plane is heading back towards the direction that they came from. The plane over there followed the group of UFOs that split off, and it couldn't find them. So now that plane circled around and is going back. These things were chasing that thing down. Whatever that group of 50 ships was that split off in a bunch of different directions, those planes were trying to catch it, but they weren't fast enough, and they couldn't get to the altitude that they were at. But earlier I did look up, and I saw a triangular shape of those things that was floating above me, and then they all phased out of existence at once. The UFO that the plane was trying to catch is now floating over here, but this is lower and it's brighter. Like this looks like that's way bigger than the other ones. And it's not like a light, it's like a haze of light. Like a clumped up amalgamate of like 6 or 7 of them. And that's headed that way. It's much bigger than anything. It's way higher than the plane. As soon as the plane's left, this thing has now revealed itself and it's going back. I don't know why they need to have the lights on, unless it's for us to see, unless that's the aim, is to show us, feel our intentions looking out towards it, and then show off that it can move at like ridiculous speeds as a way of like a soft approach to letting us know. But I saw it tonight. They would have like, how fast is a plane going when it's above your head? Those things are going like 200 miles an hour. For it to go 200 miles an hour and then stop and hover, and then go 200 miles an hour in a different direction, then quickly circle back, and then shooting stars around it, and then it goes, like things fly off of the ship down, and then it keeps going. And I hear there's something standing over there. and there was about 50 of them, immediately followed by aircrafts that were not commercial. They were looking for these things, and when they saw one of them, they beelined it, turned around and went for it, and then when it got too close, the thing phased out of existence, and then a group of that had to be 5 to 8 of them materialized over there and slowly moved away. The ones that straggled and stayed behind hid until the things left, and then they kept going to follow the other 50. One of them did circle me and went right above my head and circled me around, and then 3 of them broke off and went southeast or southwest. If it was like a military envoy, and those are technology we don't have access to, I don't see a reason for the planes to have doubled back and went back to base. I don't know why I was the witness, but it all happened surrounding me, right above my head, the whole time, right above where I was standing. This just happened. So I have to say it's about me. I don't want to sound selfish, but it's not like this thing happened over in Morrisville. It just happened right above my head. And it was right after aliens revealed themselves to me, and then I asked them to do something that I can't explain to show me that it's real. And then I got this. So I just saw a beam of light hit my head, and then I heard my own voice singing, "I know one day soon the spotlight shining down on us all are gonna fall. Will they love me for all my flaws, or judge me for all my faults? And maybe I would be someone if I didn't waste my whole life lying down, freaking out about the things I can't figure out. Well, I climbed up that mountain and I found out we've got it all wrong. The view is cool, but they only play sad songs. And I sat down with the superstars, and they told me they'd rather lose it all and be anyone who can do anything. Maybe it's a trap, and being famous ain't all that, 'cause every step you climb is a sacrifice, and the farther you rise, the further of you got left to die, until you're sat atop your pile of trophies alone and begging God, why? And he'll show you the mountains, he'll show you the trees, he'll take you by a riverside with the birds and the bees, he'll show you the kids and what they saw on their screen. Their parents argued about Ponzi schemes. He'll show you you, and he'll show you me, and everything I did to help you see before I gave up on you. And it broke my heart too, but it set me free. So if you need to, I won't compete. I'll exit stage left and let you play the lead. You can be the king of make-believe. And when you find it ain't all what it's cracked up to be, you won't find me, 'cause I'll be in Hawaii. Another plane is now circling around. They're all kind of contesting this area. I'm not seeing any other movement of stars anymore. It's all gone. But if you look, the way that I said that conglomerate of things left, the plane is now coming back. The same trajectory in a straight line as those things higher up in orbit. Literally a direct straight line, as if it followed its trajectory and is trying to figure out where it's coming from. Okay, actually there's one star now, right above, and it's moving, so it was going this way, and now it's just moved this way. Maybe you can see it. Yeah, you can actually see this one. So that's not a plane. It would have, how would you be able to go 200 miles an hour and then stop and immediately change directions? So it just changed direction slightly, and this plane is now circling around to try to meet it. The plane is sped up, so it's obviously trying to get this thing, whatever it is. They're now headed towards the same place. This one on the right side is slowed down. It's cool that you can actually see this one. Can you? It might be too far now, but you did see it for a second. And now it's, wait. Yeah, it's disappeared. There's no clouds in the sky. It looks like it went under a star, which means that it's only under the star from my perspective. But it's now hovering in place. Okay, it's going again. Shooting star right above it. The plane has now gotten in front of it and it faded out of existence. Once the plane got too close, it disappears. So I'll tell you if that plane doubles back to try to meet it, and I'll tell you if that thing moves. As soon as the plane is gone, it's hovering in place. As soon as the plane is out of the way, it's probably going to change direction again and try to go around it, unless the plane is carrying some type of, like, imagine like a giant pillar of information headed to the sky, and it's trying to corral it like a cow, like a cowboy corrals cows by like getting in the way and setting up a barrier. Maybe it's trying to like send something up so it can monitor the changes in the electromagnetic spectrum as it flies over to collect information about it. So the planes are trying to circle because they're trying to set something that they can monitor the changes in later. But either way, the UFO completely stopped in its tracks and the plane is going away. But the plane did turn around. It was going in a straight line of the direction of the aliens, if they're aliens. But then when it saw this one, and that one made a change in its trajectory, the plane made it obvious, sped up and changed direction. And then once it was too close. So maybe if they're UFOs, they have a rule. They cannot take off at a measurable speed unless allowed to. They have to like stay at this same speed. I don't think their satellites cannot change direction going millions of miles an hour, do a loop-de-loop, and then go off in a different direction. And they seem to be avoiding these planes, and the planes seem to be looking for these things. I don't know what to make of it. I don't even know if it's real, but I got this cool styrofoam board, this insulation pallets. I don't know why I said styrofoam. I was going to call it insulation, but I went to styrofoam. It is styrofoam. And it is DuPont, which is the name of the rich family that my dad and the boat captain worked for. The elite family. I walked into a church and I said that it's kind of concerning that my dad worked for an elite family and that I turned out to be a 33 life path, which adds up to 6. And then the next day, exactly where I was standing, there was a Hess truck that said DuPont on it and number 24, which adds up to 6. That's pretty concerning. So if it's a big prank and I'm in a Truman Show, fuck you guys. But I have this idea to help homeless people with wagons. And we can make them out of pallets and design it and make it, patent it, take it to the governor and be like, I have a solution to your homeless crisis in a way that will save you a lot of money. Okay, I'm looking for the UFO again. No, but I told you the plane turned around. I told you the plane is circling. The plane is circling this location where we saw 50 UFOs just split off in different directions, followed by how many? 4 or 5 different planes that have been circling around the area, and they're trying to catch these UFOs and they're trying to meet them where they're at. And the UFOs are stopping, meaning they're going like 200 miles an hour. Then when the plane gets close below it, they stop and change direction, or they disappear, and then they reappear as 6 of them together, going off masquerading as a brighter star, but really you can tell there's 6 different lights on it. I did see a triangle formation of them earlier, right above me, over there, not right above, but over there, where that plane is coming from. I was like, that's not a constellation. And then one of them broke off and went in a different direction. I don't know why they're going so slow. I don't think it's a government test. I don't like how they're all completely silent, but one of them is like, I don't know, that's way more than 4,000 feet. I've never been to the Colorado mountains. I've never seen Mount Everest. The highest mountain I've ever seen in my life was 4,100 feet. And it's much higher than that. And the other one looked almost twice as high. The UFOs seem to be like way higher than the planes can go. So I don't know. I saw, right now it's been, let's say 60 different UFOs that were all together and going like 500 miles an hour. And then they would stop immediately and split off in different directions. One of them, as a fucking joke, circled above my head. And then 3 of them took off. One of them is coming back. So there is one over there. As soon as the plane goes this way, the one that split off that I was talking about went above my head, that is coming back, which means that it turned around and is able to come back this way. Satellites cannot stop their orbit, change orbit, and fly in a completely different direction at a 45-degree angle, or sometimes even like a 16-degree angle. Like they're just going bam and then coming back. They're not able to do that. But they're way higher than the planes, so they can't be drones or they would freeze. And there's been about 60 of them so far. And they're a bit dimmer than the stars, and then there are some that are a bit brighter than the stars. I just looked at one and felt immense fear staring directly at it. For a second, I got this huge hit of black, cold energy. For like a millisecond. Good thing I'm so traumatized that my brain, my mind, and my body are so disconnected I can talk like this. Thank God for the years of spiritual rape, right? That I don't freak out at the energy. It just hits me, and my subconscious has been tortured so much I can't stop it. But it doesn't affect my compartmentalized mind. I'm not lying, I swear to God. You saw the plane circling. You can see those lights. When I tell you there was 60 UFOs that did things that are impossible with the technology they say we have access to today. No military helicopters. Nothing. I'm carrying my insulation board to build a winterproof shack so that I can eventually set up a home gym and work out. Try to take the opportunities and enjoy my life and ensure that I'm going in the right direction so I don't waste it, because I want to be able to be doing more. I put myself through the suffering because I wanted the rite of passage, and I wanted to know what it was like to go through hell and come out on top. So now I'm ready with the foundation, and I want to start doing more. I'm only held back financially, and I'm concerned about what is a waste of time and what isn't. Is working for $18 an hour, 12-hour days for 4 months, would that be a bigger waste of time than traveling, making content, and working out every day, enjoying the life that we have here before technology and the world and natural disasters take over? That's what I'm struggling with. But I know at the very least, can I get a shooting star if I should get a job? Nothing. But my mind is kind of messed up. I'm kind of dehydrated and energetically drained. I'm not connected to the nature like I was in the cabin. I really miss the cabin. But how the hell am I going to get $60,000 to buy the cabin? And maybe there's something better I haven't seen. There's nothing better than that cabin, man. The pathway to go up there and the way that it rests on the hillside in the forest. I just leaned down to grab something and it felt like an alien burrowed into the back of my consciousness, and I heard the phrase, immeasurable success. And I saw the idea of obtaining a lot of wealth. I don't know what that means. But I have faith. I try to make every day a bit better than the last. I'm trying to get more efficient. Can you see that cluster of stars? Want to move to Wisconsin? No. Schemy, slimy, smelly Ethan. I don't want to move to Wisconsin. I want to know how you're doing though. I also want to know why you haven't apologized. Oh, shooting star. And that was right to left. We saw 60 UFOs tonight. There is just a conglomerate of them over there now that was not there a couple minutes ago. So I'm looking for the plane, because the plane's going to come check that out again. Unless they're wasting gas doing this. I had other things to sell, Ethan. I don't remember them. It's been a crazy, wild journey for the past 2 years. I took on an entire police station and I planted my ass in the woods right on the boundary line between the Native American, where the French and Indian War happened. And I went up against a bunch of fat cops whose last names are all French. And me, as an Irish native, a native Irishman, stood his ground against them and recorded all the shit that they do, so that now I have been able to advocate that to Phil Scott and Brenda Siegel and the End Homelessness movement. I'm working on building wagons for people to end the campsite dilemma and the cold dilemma without spending $470 million on hotels that didn't work. And then I'm also working to build community showers in each of these small towns. I'm really trying to get people connected without losing what we have here. But I'm also trying to dismantle the culture I don't like. I was reading the Bible on the live stream today, and a demon popped up and we chased it through the woods and it disappeared. I chased it down with a machete. There's another UFO in the sky. They are just circling around this field. And I don't know why. I have to assume that I'm a Truman in a Truman show, and I'm sort of, my body is in my spirit, and this is just the orchestration of a higher intelligence to make a cool scene. I don't believe that it's an army of alien robots that are putting on a display for me to cement in my consciousness that it's real, in order to achieve the next stage of enlightenment, to be able to gain a further connection with these things. But there's Sagittarius right there, right above me, which is pretty cool. That's pretty cool. The Big Dipper and Little Dipper aren't here, that's Ursa Major and Minor, the two bears, brother bear. You're on thin ice, buddy. No planes anymore. That conglomerate of stars over there, that nebula that just appeared out of nowhere. I'm waiting for that to leave so I can confirm to you that that's something more than just the stars in the sky. I have seen 65 UFOs at this point. In like 20-minute time, immediately followed by unmarked helicopters and planes, whatever those things were, that circled the area chasing down after those things, and then when they couldn't find them, they went back to base. No, nothing that isn't a paramilitary operation. There's no private planes being flown around here. There would be no reason to. No commercial aircraft is flying the way that we saw them tonight. They have set flight plans, then they go in straight lines. Things that were making split decisions like this to turn the aircrafts around. The only thing I can think of is that it was a military operation for practice, and they're uncovering their new crafts that we're not able to know about yet. Like those might have been drones that drop bombs coming from the army base up north. And that could have been they could have been practicing to take those to war. But I don't see why they would have stopped to circle my head. And I don't know what the shooting stars were that were nearby them around me, and I don't know what that creature in the woods was. It was just standing there, and occasionally it would make a big loud stomp and rustle some leaves. But we know that there are extra dimensional entities that can be visible that have revealed themselves to me last year and this year and helped me survive a hurricane a few times by knocking trees down and bringing me a tarp. That really happened in Leo season last year. No, right before Leo season. At the end of Cancer, when I was at the Capitol building, and every time the Capitol Police were mean to me, I would shit in their parking lot, and they'd have to clean it up. It was my form of protest. And eventually, they had no problem with me live streaming because they understood that that was the only option I had, and I wasn't just a homeless piece of shit lazy like they said I was. And the guy that threw a temper tantrum and tried to hit me through the tent and stole my bike had a hissy fit storming around the Capitol building, and then a homeless veteran walked up to me looking for a cigarette because the guy said, homeless people don't come up here, they're too fucking lazy to walk from the riverside. And then a homeless veteran walked up, and I gave him a cigarette instead of him having to search like a raccoon. And in front of the cop who threw a temper tantrum, the homeless guy looked at me in the eyes and said, "You're an angel." And I was like, "It's good to see you, man. Please take care of yourself," or something. I have that on live recorded. And then about an hour and a half later, the cops came with a couple Cliff Bars and a Monster Energy drink. And they gave me that. And I was like, that's really nice. Because I also have the guy on the same live stream, that cop, pushing a 17-year-old out of the way and posturing like he's the big man of the castle, pushing him down the steps by bumping him if he didn't move, which would have been a simple assault from the cop. So I'm glad he made a change. I'm glad I could have been catalytic in his stage of awakening. And I'm broke, but that's okay. I don't even have a stone tablet to etch into. I have a phone. I've been told I cannot make a fire pit with this tire because the tire is flammable. So, Scorbo, is that nebula gone? No, it could just be a cluster of stars, but it was not there previously. And it's not moving that fast, and it's not behind any trees. Maybe I didn't see it, but if it disappears, hey, this is Ethan's buddy Christian. Hope all is well. No way. I'm starting to think this is not Ethan. Well, I know Ethan moved to Wisconsin. There's no way that they could have figured out that Ethan lived in Wisconsin. Is that really Christian? It's funny that Hitler was hooked on meth, and he would scream about the Jews and how they were taking over the world. And then we have a Lithuanian guy in a Native American poncho that says he's Jesus. I think he smoked. What the fuck are you? I scared something away. So I threw this over here, but there was a big loud something taking off that way. I'm assuming it's a raccoon because it sounded fat. And they cling to trees and they hide behind trees. That's why you don't hear them take off. They're trying to do energy conservation because it's cold. So we'll most likely hear them in a second. No, but I hear a mouse over there. So it's probably the fox again. And then that could be the fox jumping. That loud noise. I'm starting to think maybe the Jews are the bad guys. Maybe the Nazis were right in some areas, but not in a way that I want to be radicalized and go to war against it. But I'm saying that I'm uncovering secrets about the universe, and I uncover that the Jews run a Capricorn-based society and they keep us under control spiritually through the all-seeing eye and projecting sort of like a Wi-Fi router, ways that embed with our electromagnetic spirit bodies, and they infiltrate us because they destroy our gut microbiomes, and they connect us like Siri connects to all the phones, and they possess us. And then when we do DMT, we can see those aliens, the jesters. And then I get here because I'm forced to be here, and the first thing I see is this. Yeah, Ethan is a narcissist, and I think the drugs that he did kind of destroyed his natural sense of empathy, but he really didn't have it either. Oh, I wanted to ask you. I wanted to show you, I wanted to ask you, you told me, I can't tell you what I really am. I wish I could, but I can't. I can't tell you what I am. So I wanted to show you this. I still have the bear card you gave me. And I wanted to ask you, what are you really, Ethan? What's the big secret, buddy? Ethan is somebody that this first chance he gets to act like he's better than you, he does. He's completely power-based. Any chance he can get, he takes. He'll even sacrifice the friends God sends him just to pretend like he's a better person. And it sucks. I don't do it. I'm the opposite. I like throw myself at people, and I'm like, let's all make a difference. Let's all go out in the woods and build a cool shack. Let's all make Minecraft videos on the internet. Let's all get together, pool our money, buy e-bikes and DoorDash. And the guys are usually like, I'm gonna do my own thing. And that own thing always, every single time, turned into hard drugs, which destroys your natural sense of empathy forever. And the only way to fix it is fasting, sunlight, probiotics, ketosis, autophagy, neurogenesis, Higgs boson, into letting go, losing your mind, coming to your senses, humbling yourself out in the woods with nothing, and working with your hands, learning how to let go and practice caring about things, and learning from nature, which will come to help you heal. And then God will send people that embody his word, and then through osmosis, with humility, and if you deserve it, they plant a seed that grows back and allows you to grow back into your full self. And then you can start to restructure your memories of who you were before the traumas. And then with that, you can sort of crawl back into your body and be back on the earth. That's how you crawl out of hell. But it's hard. It's not easy. But that's the only way to fix it. Or else you end up like my dad when you're 60, just running around in circles, screaming at nothing, trapped in like 3 different behaviors. Because you allowed the thing to stay attached to you long enough, and it developed as lust, greed, pride, gluttony, whatever. Okay, hello, you heard that again? That was the mouse. Okay. I think I might, I don't know, this insulation board is expensive. There's definitely nobody that's gonna be here. Dude, I hate narcissists. It's Sagittarius season, which is down and is unwavering. It's the only way things that would be detrimental could come back at the perfect time. Either way, I'm waiting on Boone to send me his if people want to be unbanned just because I was mad or I was sad and I didn't like, I just wanted to talk to nothing for a while. Figured that if they stuck around, just message my Discord with a link to your channel, then I can go to your channel and unhide you. And then, oh dang, no one from nowhere, what up, with the Punisher logo, the skull with red eyes. How you doing, bruh? You're my #2 top fan, I guess. I think it goes by live stream. I'm carrying insulation board out into the forest at nighttime. And then I'm gonna go eat a protein bar and drink a prebiotic soda. And then I'm gonna snack on my Cheez-Its. And now I have this epic green and white polar bear coat, like the card that Ethan gave me when he told me that we're gladiators. And the whole time he was fighting me. The whole time I was surviving homelessness, trying to save homeless youth and make a difference in the community so I could save every one of my friends and my brother. But the evil Shay had been infiltrated by demonic forces and was impregnating all of the vessels that were coming in. And what happened? But they all chose the dark side. They ostracized the chosen one. And then the next time I saw Shay, he was covered in face tattoos. He had been beaten the fuck out of because he's a piece of shit. And he was at my brother's funeral and saw me go on stage and talk about how much of a great person he was. There was one moment where it was Shay and I standing in the foyer and the light of God was still trying to be better than me. He was still competitive. At my little brother's fucking funeral, he was still trying to do the stupid shit he did in the Spectrum Youth Program. But this time he's covered in face tattoos. And he looks like he's strung out on meth. Zooted out of his fucking mind. I'm like, how the fuck do you save them? Tie them to a tree? Slave until they learn humility? I heard a buzz from the woods, and a beam of light hit the side of my face. Do I have all messages on? I be forgetting. I don't. Let's see if he apologized. The drones are watching you, buddy. Still concerned about his reputation and his status. Well, I gave him one last chance. He's gone forever now. Righteous overlord. The fucking crackhead that betrayed me and helped the fat bitch lie to the police because the guy that kept trying to attack me, he kept trying to dethrone me because he's a schizophrenic. It didn't matter that I wasted money, time, and effort to show them a better way. And that after they betrayed me and they thought it was so funny, they all fell into smoking crack. They can't take accountability for that. Conversation with him. I know Senator Rocket. I could get a hold of Noah Khan tomorrow if I really wanted to, but I was waiting until the music is better and I'm in a better place. I'd rather just release my songs myself and learn how to enjoy making music and hanging out with musicians before like throwing myself at someone rich. I kind of want it to be more intrinsically focused, actually. So the nebula, it's here, but it's much like it's moved a considerable amount, and the stars are not here. Like the stars did not move the same direction or distance that the nebula has moved. So it is something different, but it is just floating up there. It's not a cloud. I don't want people to steal this shit. I feel better. Ethan's a leech. But it's all good. It's just so stupid. I wish that you how it went down. They're not all bad at all. Nobody is like that fucked up. But I think that people have like bad attachments and it keeps them from being present. Any more UFOs? No. But I rose my vibration and then I felt a big tingle and then it attached to my neck tattoo again and I felt a lot of pain. So there probably is a demonic attachment to my neck. Now that I'm talking about attachments. I know that Satanists, one of the big things of Satanism is to get a neck tattoo for that reason. To like pimp yourself out. To be impulsively guided by something else. But I just wanted the neck tattoo because I thought it would look cool. And it's the White Lotus from Avatar. And a Mac Miller tattoo. It's a tattoo Mac Miller had, but it's different. Instead of gray, it's white. Because the White Lotus in Avatar were the hidden masters that while the war was going on, they collectively got together in secret and they steered the world in a better direction and protected the communities from the war. And they were the masters of sword bending, earth bending, fire bending. Iroh Boomy, that swordsmith guy, the fire guy that trained Aang at the very end. They got together to protect the people. That's why I got the tattoo. But it does seem like it's kind of becoming more of a burden. There's a guy who removes tattoos, and all you have to do is say it was for white supremacy. So if I say it's white because it's a white power tattoo, he'll remove it for free. My little brother used to copy everything I did. Like when I went to Phoenix, when I got into astrology, he had like this competitive nature and I was doing whatever I wanted, innovating and the goal was to save others. Like even the neck tattoo was about saving others and his was about out-competing me. Like I went to Phoenix and I met someone in the CIA who taught me how to heal brain injuries and connect to God the true way. And he went to Phoenix, didn't know what the fuck to do, Ended up at like this Airbnb out in the desert, and the guy was a piece of crap to him, and his mom picked him up and drove him to the Grand Canyon, and they went on a big long road trip together. He got a neck tattoo. He called himself Desert Arrow afterwards. Then the next thing he did, he got a pair of giant lips, like a big kiss mark on his neck. And then I went to learn, when I came back after learning spirituality, and I came back, he, like Schemy, Slimy, Smelly Ethan, and should we call him Jew Christian? Jesuit puppet Christian? Either way, the Lithuanian man. That guy, and Shay, and Phoenix, John Michael had fallen into hard drugs and homelessness and just being a competitive piece of shit. Just a piece of garbage. Prideful. Groupthink, socially conditioned narcissist that only makes poor decisions. Okay. So when I got back, he was saying that he was going to steal my soul from me and force his soul into my body. So I waited till the drugs came down and I kidnapped him. I just said, hey, we're gonna go get smokes. And they had crystals for eyebrows, and they had crystals around the eyes in different spots. And they had really big heads, small bodies. And they were really amused, and they were like they were trying to get into my head, and they were like they grabbed a polar bear and they were trying to break its neck. So I was like, no, the polar bear is stronger than you and it kills you. And they thought that was me, and they politely left. And then John Michael came back to normal after they left. And then 3 months later, Doja Cat releases her music video where she looks exactly like the things that I just saw. And then I remembered like, to me they look like silhouettes of light that sort of, when you have your third eye open, they just like emerge in front of you. They like step out of another dimension, like walking through a doorway. And I'm hoping that those are angels. But I also see things that look like birds, and people call those the avians. I see things I don't even want to talk about right now. And today I saw 60 UFOs. Roughly. Followed by government planes trying to track them down. And they would disappear in the sky and then reappear when the plane left. They would stop. They were going like, and see the plane is still going around. Can you see that? Yeah, you can see it. They're still just hanging out. They haven't gone anywhere. The planes are still flying around in circles around me. That doesn't really mean anything. State borders don't really mean anything. It'd be better to go like 40 miles east and be right in the middle of Vermont and New Hampshire, Canada and Massachusetts. But I guess we are in a bowl of two different mountain ranges. So it's more of a defensible area. It's harder to get to this area than it is to get to New Hampshire. If they block off the highway, you're fucked. If they block off the highway, it's just dirt, like basically dirt roads through the mountain. If somebody takes a chance and starts cutting them, then you know where you're being hit. And then you just have some type of radar technology I talked to AI extensively in early summer this year, late spring, and it told me that I should be looking in the sky more for things that look like floating cities, not just random UFOs. I should be looking for like clouds the size of small towns. Because I ran it through a hypothetical where everything on Earth is exactly the same, except I lead a resistance against a real entity, a real enemy. And I said that you have to decide what real enemy that is not fictional we are up against and how you would run it through. And it told me that there was mind control things in the sky possessing people. You have to dig under and find the root of those creatures, and you have to find the city that they live in and document it and prove it to the masses without getting killed by the deep state. I'm going to leave this here, and I'm going to come back for it later. Well, it was good to see Ethan. I wish he had apologized. But obviously you're doomed to repeat your mistakes. In the name of self-preservation, all I had to do was not call him an ugly retard. Hello, messenger. I got a notification suddenly as I entered my tent. Compared to when I was sleeping in a hoodie, curled up on the side of the road, hoping nobody kills me, freezing my ass off. And I have this. Let's see, maybe the reflection. Wait. Will that work? Will it work like a lamp? A lampana? Fuck you. Fuck you, you scrag. Fuck you, you fucking shite. Kinda works. Howdy. Haddly doodly. We're gonna put my gloves on this and kick my boots off over there. We're gonna put John Michael right there. We're gonna put my charger. Is it charged? Yes, it still has 1 bar. So we're gonna put that there. Then we can take this monster of a coat off. Look at this nice ass goddamn coat. I used to beg God for one. I never got one until now. It took me 2 years of begging God for a winter coat before I actually got one. And it lined up perfectly to the theme of the year. As I move into 2026, I will have the green and white coat and the green boots. And I wish. Doesn't it suck? Everything I said that Ethan did to me, and I'm still like, man, look at my machete. I upgraded, motherfucker. And it can just hang right there, and if something comes, I can rip that shit off the tent and smack down. Yerd? Okay. I miss my brother, man. I was in Burlington fighting to save him. All I wanted to do was get to a position I could take him in. And I couldn't make it happen for years, and eventually he died. But he was someone that was proud to be an energy vampire, just like these guys. Everyone that hangs out with Casey enters psychosis, betrays him, and then falls into hard drugs. I have a superpower. And it's just being a good person, you know? It's just, I don't even think like these people. I don't know how to think like them. I don't even know how they, like, when I uncover what they really are, the reality it puts me in is just draining and unnecessary, so I just bounce back into childhood. And I live like the divine child again. And I keep my autistic savant brain to just articulate and fantasize. While the aliens slowly reveal that I'm an ancient king. In new and different ways. And then I'm burdened by truth. I get scared of my potential. And I lack the resources to do anything with it. So I fall back into a repetitive cycle, a sacrifice for somebody else. Because I'm incapable of generating enough income. But my birth certificate is on the way. Which means finally, after it's been a year. And I don't know for sure if they'll even hire me in town. I don't know if they will or not. But I know that I'm starting to look more like them the longer I stay here. My cheekbones used to pop out right here. And my nose used to go like a little button that would poke up. But the more I've been around these people, my cells dying and being replaced as I'm enmeshed in their community. It's making my nose tilt forward, my jawline go back, and my cheekbones sink. To the inbred yokel face. But once I get omega-3s in sunlight, rest, free myself from responsibilities, and I have access to a vehicle, it's going to be a huge change very quickly. Diddy? No Diddy. Everybody say, Diddy no diddling. Diddy no diddling. Diddy no diddling, not in my chat. Diddy no diddling. Leave my bum alone. Get away. Get away from us. But also, your son's name is AC, and your name is Sean Combs. And your son, King Combs. It's almost like if you had Eric or River or Dan as children, that would be so Casey coded. And if you had friends named Alex, Vincent, Jaden, Phoenix, Noah, Ethan, like the same reoccurring 7 names, single place I go, I can't go anywhere. And everywhere, Jaden, if I code up over and over and over and over again, everywhere. I can't go anywhere. God has already put that. No matter where I go, the illusion of choice, I'm going to be dealing with the same cycles of people over and over and over again. Leo, Vincent, Gary, Alex, Noah, Jaden, Phoenix, Sam, Owen, Molly, Toby, Brian, Heather, Frank, Sean. Over and over and over and over and over again. Kyle. But the Kyle is... there's going to be a Kyle, and then there's someone with a C name if there's a Kyle. If there's a Kyle, there's a Connor or a Craig or a Caleb. And they're together. Casey. Over and over and over again. Even Loki, the show Loki, where Loki with Casey and OB get together to defeat Casey, Kang the Conqueror, and then Loki becomes the Tree of Life, or the Acacia, Yggdrasil, or the Casey. I can't escape it. So, good night, everybody. Clipped.